Thanks to Heinz and Josh, we're here on the first day of winter. My name is Michael Koran. My beloved guest couldn't make it tonight, so here I am alone with you. This is a huge, without losing my head. Well, I used to tell a Christmas story, and so I'm going to summon the story from the past. And we can imagine we're Joseph. We can be heard, great. We have a very dedicated CCTV person who's scrolling on his knees to make sure we're heard. Okay, so this is one understanding of our Christmas story. What is story? So imagine we're Joseph, or in Hebrew it's Yoseph, which means in Hebrew Yo for Yahweh, God, Seth to add or provide. So if your name is Joseph or any Josephs you know, they're adding divinity to whatever's going on. And we'll see in this understanding of the story how Yosef needed to do that. And his wife's, his probably young wife's name is Miriam. The writers changed that to Mary and Joseph, maybe to make it more understandable to us, but it takes away the fact that they were all Jews speaking Hebrew. Yosef, Miriam. So young Miriam is betrothed, engaged to marry this carpenter, Yosef, an older carpenter. And they live in this very small village, Galilee, very near Roman occupation at the time. And Yosef notices, how could he not, that Miriam is swelling in her belly. His betrothed, the woman he's engaged to be married to, maybe he feels he's older, maybe she's too wild, a young thing, and to say the least, he is very, very troubled. As we all would be, engaged to be married and to discover that our wife-to-be, who we haven't touched yet. In the Jewish tradition, you don't touch your wife, they know how powerful touch is, until your wife-to-be, until you're married. So there's no touching. And then a big belly. What is a good man to do? Yosef says, Miriam, unfortunately I need to divorce you, but we'll do it quietly. We don't want you to be stoned to death. We'll do it quietly. And apparently this particular version in the Gospels, Miriam doesn't say a word about, well, I was visited by the angel Gabriel. Yoseph probably might not have believed that. However, he loved Miriam, and I like to think that this love for Miriam inspired a dream. This is all in the Gospels, as you might know. And the dream, Yoseph hears Miriam is big with child because the Holy Spirit from the angel Gabriel. Gabriel means God is mighty. All El words in Hebrew are El names, Daniel, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael. El means divinity, or rising up, like the Israeli Airlines, El Al. So Joseph hears, oh, your wife is big with child because the Holy Spirit brought by Gabriel overshadowed her, and she became pregnant. Or rather, Yosef must have thought, unusual dream. Probably from this my perspective, inspired by his love for Miriam. And he believes it. I wonder, have we ever been inspired by love to have a dream? I think I might have. This week, I dreamt of a little doggy looking into my eyes with such love that although I had planned to give it away, it wasn't mine. It was a stray. I couldn't. I felt the love. Maybe the same as Yosef. He could not give Miriam away, although he was supposed to. Hebrew men were not supposed to marry their betrothed if their betrothed was pregnant. But Yosef believed the dream, perhaps inspired by his love for Miriam, and that gave us Christmas Day. Together, they could look for a place to stay, even if it was in a stable. They were together in a stable, loving in a stable, giving birth in a stable, all prompted by love for Miriam, inspiring a dream that Yosef could believe. And so, baby Yeshua, he who will save us is what it means, was born. in a stable, friends with animals, basic, loving, with an animal love, perhaps the way that dog in my dream, with the big eyes, didn't want me to give it away. So this maybe can inspire us. Maybe me too. I'm part of us, in case you haven't noticed. So maybe, or maybe probably, or maybe necessarily, when someone we love does something that appears to be unbearable, unforgivable, can our love inspire a dream that says, you didn't do anything bad. In fact, what you did was miraculously good. Well, I have not done that always. I had a cousin, and she tried to get into my father's will and get the inheritance, I thought. And I have not forgiven her. I have forgiven her, that's not true. But I didn't see that Annie might have been doing something good. I don't know how I could interpret it that way. Maybe she needed the money to give to a charitable cause. Or so maybe she was pregnant and needed the money so she could have a child. So our Christmas story, may it move us beyond forgiveness. Not, oh, Miriam, everybody's imperfect. But what you did that seems so horrible is really, when we get to know it, a great blessing. And at the end of Jeshua's life, of course, few things could be more horrible than the end on a cross. And that end too was seen from a loving perspective of his students. They could feel his presence after he died. As my beloved roommate Enrique Olivera said, just because you die doesn't mean you're dead. And they too, like the beginning of Yeshua's conception, here too, love for someone who's undergone agony and apparent death can revive Yeshua in their minds, imagination, and why not for real? In one way or another, he was still with them after he died. and encouraging them that whatever the pain, the crucifixion, love is stronger, as it says in the Song of Songs. Well, the Song of Songs says love is as strong as death. And at the end of Yeshua's life, love was stronger than death. And I have an understanding even between Yeshua and Yahweh, the Hebrew God. You remember Yeshua prays, I don't want to be crucified, but not my will. Thy will be done. I'm with you, Father, even though you're crucifying me. And one possible understanding is that very judgmental Yahweh, maybe he could not even endure Yeshua being so close and loving to him. Who knows? Yahweh was great on punishing. From the Garden of Eden on, what a punishment. Knowing good and evil, which makes us human. Out of the garden. Yeshua could love him anyway, as the Jews did in human history. Jews stopped talking to Yahweh after the book of Job. A third of the Hebrew Bible, not one word from God. That God who punished Job so much. And Job stayed with him, talked with him. And Yahweh there too said, Job, your friends who said you were suffering because you did something wrong, they were wrong. And I would punish them, but they're your friends. And he gave Job back a new family. But ever since then, in the Hebrew Bible, which goes on another whole 1/3 of the Bible, not one syllable from Yahweh. Respected him, honored him, did not want to interact. Don't blame them. After punishing Job to see if Job would still love him. And Job stayed with him, as Yeshua stayed with the Father. And if you've needed this, I think I have. If we're loved in spite of what we've done, unconditional love, that can help us transform into more loving people. How does that happen? How? Maybe forgiving, learning to forgive myself. As a friend of mine said on Facebook, if you're the same person you were 20 years ago, you haven't grown. And if you're not horrified by what you did 20 years ago, some of the things, you haven't grown. So if we can understand ourselves as always growing to be more and always learning from our mistakes, like Yeshua did to the Father. Well, crucifying me is not very nice. I will love you anyway. I will love you anyway. So that can be a Christian celebration of this season. I will love you anyway. Unconditional love. Of course, I have this understanding because of my own childhood. I had a very challenging mother. When I fought with my younger brother, Len, she would hit me. I cried. She'd say, "Stop crying! I don't want you to feel. I don't want to feel like I'm a lousy mother and raise the boy who cries. Stop crying!" And I would be hit all the time. I mean, that was our way of. It was the only touch from my mother, except when I was so sad, she'd say, "Oh, you poor boy, your daddy hit you." So I had many challenging feelings. Once when I was painting the house indoors and out in New Jersey, a little scary for me, even on the second floor, but my dad was going to give me $300 for painting the house. My mother, as usual, said, "You're not painting it right. You missed that spot. It's not, do that over." And I was so angry, not unconditional loving was I then. I poured paint thinner over my mother's head. And I thought I need to get away from this relationship. And I told my mom, like a college student that I was, I need 4 years of no interaction. So then maybe we can start anew. So at the end of the 4 years, I call my mother up and invite her to Cambridge. It's going to be our reunion. I got a place for her in Mopsy Strange Kennedy's home, near Inman Square. And I pick my mother up from the airport. I drive her to Mopsy's home. My mother walks in, opens the refrigerator and says, as she did my whole life, "What's wrong with you? What kind of host are you? There's no food in the refrigerator." And I had learned some things in 4 years. Nonviolent communication helped me. And I said, "Mom," I didn't fight with her. She loved me to fight with her. "Mom, let's talk to each other with kind words." And my beloved mother said, "Stop trying to control how I talk. You're Hitler. You're Hitler." And I didn't argue back. I had finally learned not to, living in Boston for 4 years, where if you raise your voice, people might not talk to you forever. And I just said, Mom, I'm going to leave food outside the door for you, and I'll see you in the morning. I hope we can talk to each other with kind words. And I come back in the morning, and my mother, who would like to argue, bring us down to the poor hell she was living in. But she knew I wouldn't. I could leave her again for 4 years. And so she says to me, with her tongue held between her teeth, Michael, I think we should talk more kindly with each other. And ever since, she was so grateful someone helped her not to help stopped her from fighting with everyone she loved and helped her be a kinder person. She was my housemate, Miriam, when she saw my mother and I in the roof, she said, I never saw a more devoted mother. And my mother, out of gratitude, helped me buy one condo for myself and one that she could come and visit in during the summers. And I tell this story and call it, It's Never Too Late to Have a Loving Mother. And it was the same thing as Yeshua, both between Yoseph and Miriam. What you did, Miriam, was wonderful. I thought it was horrible. Or Yeshua's followers to the Father, we thought it was horrible. They had run away. But now we see, as we can feel his presence after he died, his loving presence, unconditional love. Everything can be forgiven. And what looked horrible, crucifixion, is really a blessing. Wow, if we could do that in our own lives. And with everybody. That may be the gift of Christmas. Well, thank you for being with me as I share this. In another half hour, my dear friend called me at the last minute and said she couldn't come for tonight. So thanks to that which seemed like, oh my, what will I do? I wanted to be with her, but I had an opportunity just before Christmas to share this with you. Well, I'm going to follow these stories of love and forgiveness by sharing with you some of the words from this book called Move, What the Body Wants. These were the people who created Interplay, which is a wonderful way to learn how to play through our days. So welcome again This is our second half hour to Aha, a Human Among Humans. I'm still Michael Koran, and I'm going to try for our new year, a resolution for me and for anybody who wants it. Can we play through our days? Can we have fun? Love and fun in shade and sun. Now, for those who would like, interplay meets. It's like improvisational dancing and talking for an hour and 45 minutes, from 7:30 to 9:15 at the First Congregational Church, 11 Garden Street, right next to the Sheridan Commander, in the basement, fittingly in the children's room. We learn how to play, make faces, stretch. Oh, let's let the body do what it wants to do. We learn to thrust, get out, sway. Hang. I've discovered that if I move and talk at the same time, it's so much more fun interacting, maybe even with me. Hi, Mike. You're a little tense, having to do another half an hour because your guest isn't here. Yes? Okay, relax. Feel some ease. Make some easy breaths. I hope you're doing this too. Yes. This can be a Christmas gift to each other. So let me just share with you. This book again is called Move What the Body Wants, by the creators of Interplay, Cynthia Winton Henry, with Phil Porter. So I underlined some of these. So these are some of the exercises. Shake out whatever you're sitting on or standing on. Shake out one hand. This feels good, even alone. Even, wow. And now don't just watch. CCTV, we know who you are. Shake your whole body. This is what we can do in Interplay, just warm up. Take a deep breath and let it out with a sigh. Ah. It's called the Bebo. Breath in, breath out. Bebo with a sigh. Ah. Boy, that did make me feel at ease, or help me be at ease. Do it again. I did it twice. For 30 seconds, use sweeping or tossing motions as if you're clearing out. Sweep, toss, clearing out your space. Now you might wonder, is this connected to the first part of the show? Well, once we learn to love ourselves and even see what we thought what we did was bad, but there's also a way to see how miraculous it was. Like Yoseph seeing what Miriam did was a miracle. Once we get to forgiving and unconditionally loving ourselves and others, as my cousin Judy Korn said to her children, I'll always love you. Like has to be earned. So once we get to that place, maybe we can play through all our days. And I just learned with you a bit. A Bebo. Breath in. Ah. Breath out with a sigh. Can help us ease. And then we're clearing whatever's in our way. Throw imaginary paint on the wall. Just let it out. For 5 seconds, do some fake karate. It would have to be fake with me. Ha! Aho! Ha! He! Ha! Oh! Hope you're doing this. Have as much fun as I am. Use your voice as well. I did. If you don't notice any shift, you may need to commit yourself more fully to your movement intention for 30 seconds. Well, I have noticed a shift. Although my voice is hoarse, which is that hoarse, I'm a little shy doing this in front of you. Take a deep breath and sigh out loud as many times as you need. That might be the end of our show, but Okay, are we ready for the next interplay exercise? Start a dance with a little shaking of a hand and a deep breath. See where it takes you as you give yourself a chance to release what was stored up. Gee, I'm 81, a lot of stuff stored. Start a dance. Just with your hand, and let me read these directions again. And a deep breath, and then give yourself a chance to release the things you stored up. Boy. Alomina. Wow. Hope it's doing this for you too. This is again all out of Move. You can get it from the Interplay website. for $25. Now we're getting closer to each other. Let touch in. Bring your palms together. Wow. High palms. Instead of touching to feel things, feel the simplicity of this basic sense of your hands as they touch. Very simple. Savor sensations. Wow, nice hands. Wow, nice hands you have. As if enjoying a nutritious meal. Well, our hands can nourish us. Touch different things. Wow, this wall feels better than I've ever known. The floor, through my feet, I have sneakers on. Let your hand simply rest on something. Maybe this book. Oh my. I hope you love this and fall in love with all you touch. Sense differences in energy. This feels cold, heat. Feels like it has some energy. The floor seems to be pulsating. Texture. The pages of these books are nice. You know, some books, the pages are shiny, you can't feel them. These pages have texture. Notice what you enjoy. I think I enjoyed it all. I'm just gonna, well, some of these are partnered, so I'll skip them here. This is a challenging one. Today, when you accidentally make contact with people, imagine saying thank you instead of, I'm sure this is a little dangerous, especially in Boston, instead of I'm sorry, but a very interesting perspective. Here's another practice. Open up that headspace. Shake out your arms. Shake out your voice. Oh, your voice. Take some deep breaths. Open your face as wide as you can, and then squinch up. These seem to be very freeing for me. Massage your face. Nice face. Nice face. You have the nicest face I've ever had. Even though you're almost 82. Nice, I never felt you before, really. What is the first thing you notice? That I have a face? And that it's nice to touch? Anything more specific? Seems like I did a good shave. Okay. Practice. Take your mental lid off. Using your kinesthetic or body imagination, put your hand on top of your head like a lid. Make a sound like a rusty hinge as you take your lid off. Grab hold of whatever's under wraps and fling it in the air. Ugh, ouch! Wow! Whee! Do this until you feel less mental. Well, thanks to being able to stand here, because these wonderful folks at CCTV, Josh and Heinz, move the desk. I feel less mental than if I was sitting in a chair. That's way more mental. Practice faster than the speed of thought. This might be a hard one. Put your hand in the air. Hold it in position. I see one of you isn't doing this. We at CCTV know you're going to get a bonus if you stay with us. We only have 10 more minutes. Don't give up yet. Change it to a different position. Change it again. Each time you change, create a distinct shape. Distinct. Gee, that's whatever that means. Can't just be a, it's got to be a shape. Now change shapes faster than the speed of your mind. Whoa, that was faster. Freeing. Maybe my voice is a little more resonant and less hoarse. Notice your thoughts move. Remember, the name of this book is Move. If you're moved to, you can get it at Interplay on the web. In stillness, observe your thoughts for 1 minute. Wow, it was a long minute. Thank you for doing this with me. Remember, your thoughts are physicalities. It's easier when you're talking. Your thoughts are these little flying bits of wisdom. They may feel so much like you that you don't notice them, like you notice a feeling. We can notice we have a feeling. And feel thoughts are part of us, little wisdomlets. Watch them move from thing to thing. Jot down thoughts you recall. I might do one. Hi there. I wrote down wisdomlets. Next, we're getting lots of wisdom here, I hope, to move. Raise a hand in the air to begin. Starting with slow and smooth movements. Play with any dynamic or energy you feel in your body right now. So we're not making anything up. We're just, we're playing with it. Oh, we're having fun. Well, notice your mind. Does it follow the dance or try to lead it? My mind was following. Can you let your mind follow the movement? Yes. Get graded here. Clench your fist for 30 seconds. Notice the effect on your hand, your arm, and the rest of your body. Hold out your arm or stand on one leg. Gee, I think that might be hard. I do better holding out my arm. Hold your position. How long can you do it? I think a long time. What happens to you physically? Well, if I do it a shorter time, I'll do the leg. That's not very longer. And I get all shaky, but enjoy it. Thanks for staying with me. 4 more minutes. It's just a little comment in the writing. A gracious mind. Isn't that nice? A gracious mind, as we talked about Yeshua and his students, the first, and his father and mother. A gracious mind must learn to simultaneously let go and hold on like a trained dancer. We could learn how to dance with this book move, which would be appropriate. Vocal play. For 10 seconds each, sing fake opera. Oh, how this is fun. Pretty fake. Fake country western. All I want to do is play with you. That's very good. You'll do better, I'm sure. Blues. I wanted to play with you. Please say I do. Or whatever else feels easy, silly, and fun. If it's hard, know that it's often easier to play with others than alone. Thank goodness you're with me. In the spirit of faking it, let go of singing right. I think I've done that before. Just sing a secret lullaby to someone you love that can begin with this still small voice within our inside voice. I love you. I love you. I do. The still small voice, we have no time for that. Thank you for playing with us. Move what the body wants. You can get it from Interplay if you like. Much playing this holiday season to all.